Hey Geeks, it's Andrea, and today we're going to do something that we haven't done in quite a while. We're going to take a look at the backstory of one of the many Overwatch heroes. Today we're going to get to know the newest hero in the Overwatch roster and my current favorite to play, Brigitte Lindholm, or as pretty much everyone I know likes to call her, Baguette. So let's start at the very beginning. Torbjorn's wife, Ingrid Lindholm, was perfectly pregnantly plump with their youngest child by the time that Torb was in the midst of Operation White Dome. Torb was the chief engineer on this mission. Among the other agents there, everyone's favorite shield-wielding badass, Reinhard Wilhelm, was accompanying alongside. This mission was ultimately a success, but both Rein and Torb were injured in battle. Torb was injured so badly, this mission costed him his arm. But better his arm than his life. Even though he had his own injuries, Reinhardt fought through the pain and was able to save Torbjorn's life, so he would make it back to his wife and soon-to-be-born baby girl. After rescuing Torb, Rein would not leave his bedside in the hospital. Being so frustrated by this, Torb gave Rein an offer he couldn't refuse. Rein agreed to leave on the promise that he could name his soon-to-be-born daughter. As an added bonus, he was also promised to be her godfather. Reinhardt named this little girl Brigitte and became a pretty damn good godfather. Along with inheriting her father's stubborn nature, Brigitte was the first of his children to follow down his path in mechanical engineering. Growing up, she spent as much time as she could tinkering in her daddy's workshop. As a child, she even once made a suit of armor for her poor pet cat. Her interest in engineering differed slightly from her father's, though. While Torb was well known worldwide for his weapons, Brigitte found love in engineering armor. Growing up, Reinhardt always told her stories of heroes and chivalry. She grew up fascinated with these stories. Rein was not only her godfather, but also trained with her once she was an adult. They would spar together daily and then would go relax at a pub. Having this strong bond with Rein made it an easy decision when the opportunity to travel with him arose. After being forced into early retirement, Reinhardt decided he was going to travel and bring justice to the world as a knight-errant. Before he left, Brigitte asked to join as his squire. Growing up hearing such great stories, she had a desire to travel and make the world a better place. This was her opportunity. Reinhardt accepted this request, and the great pair began their adventure. Her main responsibility as squire was to maintain Reinhardt's armor, a fitting job for the youngest Lindholm. She also spent a lot of time mending wounds on Reinhardt himself. Rein was not a young man anymore, and he had spent years fighting for Overwatch, which took its toll on his body. They had been sparring for years, and throughout this process, Rein had continued to train her. With all this practice under her belt and wanting to help her mentor more than just fixing his armor, Brigitte decided it was time to fight alongside him, so she secretly began to create her own suit of armor, initially just using whatever material she could find along the way. Stopping in a town where they expected to be able to refuel and earn some cash, they found it to be seemingly void of people. A little girl by the name of Hannah came up to the pair, astonished by Reinhardt's size, afterwards asking if they were here to save her town from the dragons. After having a look around, it didn't take them long to find the dragons attempting to extort money from the mayor. Reinhardt tried to break it up, but they immediately grabbed both Hannah and Brigitte in order to keep Rein from fighting back. They viciously beat Reinhardt until they were satisfied with their damage, afterwards leaving him bloodied and bruised, and they went on their way to devastate another town. As they returned to their transport, Brigitte warned Rein repeatedly that his armor was too badly damaged to survive another fight. Being stubborn himself, Reinhardt wanted to take these guys down. After doing what she could to repair his armor, it didn't take long for her to track the dragons. They were in a factory just outside of town. Reinhardt went in, ready for a fight, this time ending victoriously, forcing them to swear not to bother the town or its people. Before leaving, they were able to obtain some scrap from the factory. As a gift to Hannah, Brigitte gave her stuffed lion an upgrade with some of the scrap they found. With all that completed, they were ready to get fueled up and be on their way to the next town in need of aid. The following year, while in Eichenwald, Reinhardt got the recall order from Winston for heroes to rejoin Overwatch. Brigitte was profusely against the idea. She didn't have the most positive opinion on Overwatch. She pleaded with him not to do it, and even went so far as to say it must not have been for him since they forced him to retire in his 50s. Despite everything, Reinhardt decided to return to Overwatch in its time of need. Brigitte did her best to offer him her support through the change. Brigitte finished her own armor and decided to fight by his side. With her mentor at her side, they would make the world a better place for the people who reside in it, one fight at a time. At some point, Torbjorn did work on her armor also, adding a little piece of his style to it. They also have matching ironclad guild tattoos. Brigitte has hers on her left shoulder and Torb's is on his right shoulder. Another reminder of how important her father is to her, she uses his wrench from when he was part of Overwatch. You can even see this in some of the in-game skins. Brigitte was already deep-rooted into the story before she was confirmed as an in-game hero, so they already had some ideas of what direction to take her. One of the more interesting facts, in my opinion, is that her shield and flail weapon combination was initially suggested for use for Reinhardt in his early development stages. While developing her, they also considered a more traditional mace or even a sword, but her rocket flail just seemed to fit her personality better. Alright geeks, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Brigitte is such an interesting character. She is by far my favorite character to play right now. Let me know what Overwatch character you would like to learn more about. If you're a fan of GG, be sure to share this video with your friends as well as like and comment. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Our current t-shirt is this completely innocent GG logo shirt. Alright geeks, I'll see you next time.